Oh yeah. Wait a minute, girl, can you slow down? Wait a minute, girl, what's the rush now? I wanna introduce myself to you. My name is one-on-one guy, to prefer nouns. I like the way you put your fists together. I like the way you do your hair in the morning. I see why all the boys want you, girl. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about how I personally feel Ron Rivera has lost faith in Chase Young. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So, I personally feel like Ron Rivera has lost all faith in Chase Young. Now, is that to say he can't gain it back? No, not saying that at all. Chase Young could totally go out this season, ball, and be a star like we hope and pray he is. But right now, as we sit, I think Ron Rivera has lost all faith in Chase Young. I think the actions that has been put forth when it comes to Chase Young, or whenever Ron Rivera has to speak on Chase Young, you can tell. I mean, the most blatant, obvious sign is them not picking up his fifth-year option. If you truly feel like your first overall pick in a draft, first overall pick for your team, second overall specifically for that 2020 draft, but the first pick for us, if you felt like that was your guy and you knew how good he was, you would have picked up his fifth-year option if you felt like he deserved it. They didn't. Let's take a look, and I know these are quarterbacks and stuff like that, but let's take a look. Bengals picked up Joe Burrow's fifth-year option. Justin Herbert, they picked up his fifth-year option. I believe, did Tua get his fifth-year option picked up? I believe so. But more of the story, the jury's out on Tua. I'm not 100% sure, but I know about Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert for sure. But the more of the story is these guys got their fifth-year option picked up because their team believes in them. And these are all top picks from that 2020 draft class. Chase Young, on the other hand, didn't. And rightfully so, because he hasn't produced. Outside of that 2020 season, he has not produced. And let's be real, I love Chase Young, bro, and I want him to pan out. But can we be real? That 2020 season, he was good, okay? I'm not saying he shouldn't have won Defensive Player, Rookie of the Year. Not saying that at all. He was good. But looking at it in hindsight, that 2020 season wasn't all that, okay? That 2020 season is all we're hanging our head on now because that's all he has put up. But he was electric that year. I'm not going to say he wasn't. But it wasn't like something that was so great if we go back and look at that season. Then you follow up the 2021 campaign. Up until week 11, Chase Young had 1.5 sacks. Okay, up until he tore the ACL versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That season wasn't good, and he wasn't good at all during that season. He was an elite run stuffer. That's one thing about Chase Young. No, he hasn't got to the quarterback. He hasn't blossomed into that Myles Garrett, that T.J. Watt, none of the premier pass rushers in the league as far as getting to the quarterback. But he is an elite run stuffer. But, again, you don't pay first-round picks. You don't extend first-round picks that was selected inside the top 5 to be elite run stuffers. You can find elite run stuffers in the 3rd round. And no, I'm not making this video to bash Chase Young because I'm a fan just like the people that love Chase Young out there, but this is just my opinion on me feeling like the coach has lost faith in him, right? They haven't picked up his 5th-year option. Anytime Ron Rivera is talking about Chase Young, he just doesn't seem interested, or it's a quick word on him, right? I really feel like last year, and a lot of people has even pointed it out in my videos, and a lot of other people have spoken on this too. They feel like Chase Young rubbed Ron Rivera the wrong way last year when he didn't come back and play sooner enough. Now, they said that because I want to say James Andrews cleared Chase Young to return like week 9 or week 10 of the NFL season last year, and Chase Young obviously didn't make his debut into the 49ers game. And a lot of us was giving Chase Young the benefit of the doubt, saying, you know, it's all mental right now, and that's a part of it. You got to be mentally right. But also a lot of you all were saying the same thing, like, hey, if Chase doesn't show up this week, bro, just shut him down, bro. I'm kind of done with it, and you have all right to, because if you're really able to play, and you just mentally can't do it, or you're just saying I'm gonna come back when I want to or whatever, that's gonna rub the coaching staff and fans wrong, especially for what we were in last year, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all remember what we were in? We had a chance to send all four of the teams in the division to the playoffs. And we really were looking forward to getting Chase Young back. Chase Young missed a lot of football that was key down that stretch. May I talk about that Eagles game, Monday Night Football? Yeah, we won, but that would have been a perfect spot for him to come back. May I talk about that Sunday Night Football game versus the Giants? May I talk about the one prior to the bye week versus the Giants? May I talk about the Falcons game, even though it was raining? That was a game that was down to the wire that could have used Chase Young, right? So he missed a lot of key football last year that I think he was healthy for, and the coaching staff was looking forward to getting him back out there. And when he said he didn't want to come play, or he just didn't feel like playing, or he just wasn't ready, quote unquote, that rubbed him the wrong way, right? And then obviously, and I know it's voluntary, but is it really voluntary? Because, like, yes, it's voluntary. You don't have to show, but don't you think your coach would want you to show up? Especially when you're coming off a torn ACL. I don't think Chase Young's on Ron's good side. I understand Ron doesn't want to publicly come out and say it verbatim, but when he talks about, yeah, it's voluntary, but I would love for our guys to be there, you gotta be there, man. Again, I don't want to put too much stress into it, because what Chase Young does in May is not going to transition to September. But I just know me. I know if I'm coming off of a torn ACL, okay, and I know this is a humongous year for me. Again, they didn't pick up my 5th-year option. Whether I want to be here or not in Washington isn't my concern right now. My concern is putting the best season forward. So even if Washington doesn't want to extend me, I could put out good film for a team out there in the NFL that could pick me up on the market next offseason. So I'm going to be there to just be around my team, be around my guys, probably for one of the days. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even have to be at all 3 of the OTA sessions. He could have been at one of them. Again, I wasn't that guy that was going to make a video and say, like, Chase Young didn't show up. Oh, my God, he's not invested. But I am conflicted in a way. Like, on one hand, I get it. Yeah, it's voluntary. You don't need to be here. But also on the other hand, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of with everybody that do feel like you should have at least been here. You didn't have to participate, but you could have been there. I get it, right? But Ron Rivera basically talking about Chase Young in a sense of like small talk. Again, if you guys pay attention to Ron is not a very hard guy to read. When Ron loves you, Ron is going to speak highly of you and isn't going to shut up about you. He's going to make sure he talks about you. Talks about Terry McLaurin. Talks about Deron Payne. Talks about Jonathan Allen. Oh my God, he has talked about Sam Howell almost every time he has a public eye or interview. And Sam Howell hasn't even done much. You don't hear him talk about Chase Young. I wonder why that is. He even talks about Montez Sweat. And Montez Sweat is practically in the same boat as Chase Young. Again, this is just what I feel. I know my coach. We know our coach. We know how Ron is. I love Chase Young as a player. I love Chase Young because he's from my hometown or home area, per se, PG County. And the DMV for all of us, right? Whether you're from DC or Virginia or Maryland, he is from this area nevertheless. So we want to see him thrive. You know, we want Chase Young to be the face of this franchise. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, Terry McLaurin's a dog. One of the best wide receivers in football. But who is really supposed to be that face? We got 3 faces. Really 2. Terry and Jonathan Allen. Right? But they still were promoting Chase Young in the rebranding. But who is supposed to be the number 1 face of this franchise? I'll wait. Chase Young. Chase Young is supposed to be the face of the Washington Commanders. Am I wrong? Okay. I thought so. I thought so. He was supposed to be the #1 face of this franchise, and he hasn't been that yet. And it's getting scary to the point where Washington may have missed on yet another first-round draft pick. Man, it sucks. And I'm hoping Chase can come out here and just ball, man. I'm hoping he gives me 13, 12 and a half. Shoot, give me even 11 and a half with about 4 forced fumbles. You know what I'm saying? That's good enough. I genuinely feel like, especially if we perform well as a team and Ron is back, I don't see them re-signing Chase Young. The only way I see them re-signing Chase Young, if he outperforms Montez Sweat, right? And it's just like by a clear margin that he's the better edge rusher, then they're going to resign him. But if it's like neck and neck and we only can sign one of you guys, they probably going to go with Montez Sweat. Now, for me personally, I would probably go Chase Young in that sense because Chase Young has much of the more upside than a Montez Sweat. Like, his ceiling is much higher than Montez Sweat's. But I wouldn't be mad or surprised if they did the opposite. Looking at it like, Chase, you have to prove it to me this year, and if you don't, you're gone. They're probably not going to end up franchise tagging him. I think it's only a possibility if they both ball, but I don't know if that's even true because they may want to use the franchise tag on Cameron Curl. They may want to use the franchise tag on, I don't know, Benjamin St. Juice, like just somebody else, Curtis Samuel, right? Because they have other priorities, right? It's not just Montez Sweat and Chase Young. I hope y'all know that, and I know y'all do, right? They may want to use a franchise tag on Antonio Gibson. Like, they have other priorities. So that's why I also feel like using a franchise tag on Chase Young may not be as a possibility as I once did. Strong possibility as I once did. So more of the story, man. Ron Rivera, in my opinion, has lost faith in Chase Young. Again, not saying he can't reinstill that confidence in Chase Young or in Ron Rivera, Chase Young. But you can just tell by all of Ron's actions. So yeah, man, there y'all have it. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. Do you think Ron Rivera has lost faith in Chase Young? Let me know what you guys think. As always, being boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hail to the Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. See you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.
We the kings of the East, I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. The DMV behind you, commanders. Now it's time to step in the field and take command. 1932, we was established. We been running the NFC East every year after like. We got the best fans in the league. You cut through our skin, it's burning gold where we bleed. Cause hail to the commanders, we the best in the league. We fight for DC and the whole DMV. We got a new name but still got the same rings though. We got a new name but still on the same mission though. And that's the what it's about, we fall back to the city.